Welcome to Sharp or Square, presented by Hard Rock Bet. We are part of the Volume Podcast Network. This is the show that makes the squares sharper and makes the wise guys pay attention. I am Chad Millman. I'm joined, as always, by my BFF, my companion, my compadre, professional bettor, my co-host, Simon Hunter. Hello, Simon.
Chad, Happy New Year to you, my friend. How you doing?
Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to Matt Mitchell. Happy New Year to all of our friends and listeners and watchers who have spent the season with us, who found us anew in the Sharper Square world, who came with us from the old world. We are incredibly appreciative and lucky as we kick off 2026. Good Lord, 2026.
Yeah, it doesn't sound real yet. I definitely had one of those moments last night where we're just saying out loud. I turned to my friend and I said, it is weird every time you hear that we're closer now to 2050 than we are to the year 2000. But the year 2000 doesn't feel.
Oh my God.
But the year 2050 sounds like a different lifetime. So it's kind of a mind fuck right now thinking about that.
2050 is cosmic, dude. I don't even know how that well, let's see, 2050. I can't even say how old I'll be. Simon, you might be doing this show on your own by then, brother.
I doubt it, Chad. I keep saying people like you that live on bird feed, they live to 100 years.
2050
in all my clogged arteries.
I'm not even going to say it. All I know is that I'm not even going to say 2050. 80? I can't even see the number. I won't be 80, but I won't be that far off.
I mean, you really want to know? I'll be your age, basically.
Dude, you'll be older than me.
I'll basically be right around 60.
Yeah, but I'm not 60.
I know. It's just fun making fun of you.
That's hurtful. Those are hurtful things to say as we kick off the new year as BFFs. Hey, listen. Today, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, we are all Hoosiers. That's all I'm going to say. Except I'm also going to say, for those who are like grappling with Indiana's college football dominance, welcome to the club. If you're joining us in Hoosier Nation and you're wondering what a Hoosier is, I wish I could tell you. I took an entire class on it when I went to Indiana University. I still don't know. It could be some nickname from a poem a guy in Indiana wrote. It could be a saying from jolly old England, Simon, about like depicting strength and woodsmen. It could be because a guy who owned a lot of land in the state of Indiana was named John Hoosier, and everyone who worked for him called themselves Hoosiers. It doesn't matter. Today, Simon, you're a Hoosier. Matt Mitchell is a Hoosier. I'm a Hoosier. Go, IU, fight, fight, fight.
What about this trend, Chad? The trend of what is it?
Don't like it.
Don't like it. Teams off a bye in the college playoffs.
Do not like what I've seen so far with the teams getting the byes. It's not a good trend at all, Simon. We saw it again last night with Ohio State losing to Miami. Great game by Miami. Hopefully, Curt Cignetti gets to repeat the words of Miami coach that he said last night.
But hats off to our guys for being some tough-ass sons of bitches.
Tough-ass sons of bitches. That's what we are for doing a Week 18 episode on Thursday, on New Year's Day in the morning, because we are dedicated, we're professional, we're going to do our stinking job. Tough-ass sons of bitches.
Yeah, we both should be up on a couch right now watching Stranger Things, getting ready for this college football day, but instead, the never-ending wheel that is the NFL continues to roll, my friend, and we got to get to it.
No, Simon, we should be on the Peloton working off the olive oil cake that we ate last night. All right, reminder, subscribe to Sharper Square on YouTube, Apple Pods, Spotify. Let's get into this every week. We give our picks every week, even in the holiday season. Simon's fellow professional bettors, the wise guys, are going to give us some feedback. So let's get to it. Let's hear some sharp calls.
I have to answer this phone.
Yeah, as always, let's start where we differ. The pros absolutely love Chicago. Most guys I've talked to have taken a position on Chicago. They even like Chicago at the -3. So they totally think Chicago's are a much better team than Detroit right now. A team that is playing for that 2 seed. They think they're going to be massively motivated, and they've been betting it, just thinking that exact way. So that one actually pretty shocked me. I thought Detroit would be the pro side. The public would be all over the Bears, but it seems like the public and the pros are lining up on this Bears team. Another game, I think it's just not on our radar, or maybe I'm just missing it. I wanted to be on Dallas. Every pro I've talked to, they love the Giants here in this spot. They love Dart and what he can do offensively against a Cowboys defense that's just atrocious, especially against running quarterbacks. So I found it really interesting that so many pros think that's going to be a close one. And yeah, that number is a couple times touched 4 again, just got immediately bet back down to 3.5 at a lot of books. So really interesting, a game that I might simply just be missing. Seattle Seahawks. I cannot believe the pros are hammering Sam Darnold as a favorite on the road in a must-win to get the 1 seed type of game, but they are. I mean, most guys I talk to really like that spot. They just think this 49ers team is truly a house of cards. How much longer can Purdy and this offense prop up this 49ers team is kind of their view of it. And if you're looking for a team that maybe can stop this juggernaut of an offense, the 49ers, it would be this Seattle defense, right? That's been so dominant on the road. So really interesting game where I thought all of us would be lined up on them, and it's pretty split. For what we did get right, Panthers, like we talked about all week, that came down from 3.5 to 3, now down to 2.5. That's a really smart, sharp side, and I'm glad the pros are on it because I was a little worried when I saw how much money was pouring on that Bucs team. It's like, what am I missing here? But I think we see this number keep dropping. It makes me feel better as our position. And, another game we haven't spent too much time on, but I think is an interesting move by the professionals is that Chargers game. The pros have just been hammering the Chargers.
Yes.
And the number really has not budged. So that's going to be an interesting topic to talk about, where are the books simply just missing it? Are they overrating too much the backups for this Chargers team? And they're clearly taking a stand here, the books. And, I don't think the public, this is a game they're ever going to mess with. I truly think this is just a professionals versus the books type of game, right? The most, Joe public bettors, they're not going to bet too big on the NFL this weekend. So a lot of the money, when you see big money simply on one side, most times if it's a game like this, like a 12.5 point spread, this is going to be professional money. It's not going to be the type of game the public touches here. So I really interested to see where that number goes, Chad, because like I said, the books have taken a stand now. They're holding firm on that 12.5. Game we love, Saints +3, +3.5. I knew that would be the pro side. It's going to be interesting what happens now. We just got word before the show Olave is going to miss this game. See where that number goes. Maybe we get 4s, 4.5s. I know there's going to be some pros on the other side of this. It's just them. They basically took Atlanta at 2.5, and they've not touched it since. So it really is just, if you're getting the 3, 3.5, that's a professional side, in my opinion, on the Saints. And, the last one, we talked a little bit about it, Minnesota. We've seen that number get a couple books get up to 7.5. It keeps coming back down. So, there is a little bit of resistance, but I hope people listened. Got the 5.5, got the 6.5 on Minnesota. That was definitely the sharp side. I don't think we see it go below 7 at this point. So, yeah, it's a wonky week. I'll have maybe a little bit more calls come Sunday morning, but just with the holiday, it throws it off a little bit because most pros I know, especially professional groups, they're really focused on the college bowl games and the playoffs. Once those games are over, that's when they start taking larger positions come NFL on Saturday and Sunday. So I'll definitely have more info hopefully Sunday morning.
So everyone check it out Sunday morning. We're on the air, YouTube, watch it.
Not excited.
Sharp or square. I'm really excited about this Carolina game. We've been hitting it since it was 3.5 last Sunday. They are now 2.5 at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Simon, the Carolina Panthers are going to be our brass balls bet of the week, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
You know what it takes? It takes brass balls.
To me, it came down to this and the Chargers, and I'm glad you brought up the Chargers and sharp calls because I do want to talk about them later in the show. Really intriguing matchup to me, but I feel like we would have been doing our listeners a poor service, a disservice, if we didn't just ride with the Carolina Panthers in a spot where they are coming off a loss. They are on the road. They can fulfill their destiny that we have been predicting for 2 years of winning the dreadful, nobody cares about it, NFC South. Like, how do we not stick to our guns and go with the Carolina Panthers? Especially on a trend. 3 weeks ago, we're on them. 2 weeks ago, we're off them. This week, we're on them. Let's just be consistent. Let's do everyone a service and be on the right side of history with the Carolina Panthers plus 2.5.
Yeah, we love betting history as well. Just the uniqueness of this, right? This will be, give out the stat one more time. Carolina, 7-0 against the spread after a straight-up loss, covering over almost 12 points per game in this exact spot. Since 1990, no team has ever gone 8-0 against the spread after a straight-up loss. So, like you said, we're betting on history here. Can never avoid it. Really unique spot with this Panthers team. And, I really found it interesting just about what I gave out, that home record with Baker, just about how bad he is in this exact spot at home. And the fact that, in his career, 5-14 at home and against divisional foes, since he's moved to all these different teams, so since 2020, he's 2-12 against the spread against home divisional foes. So as a favorite, we just do not back Baker. We like to fade Baker. We like to back him as a dog. Little did we know he would be going through one of the most historical worst streaks ever against the spread. We have made money, luckily, off of it. But my God, looking back, there were so many signs that this was just a crumbling house. And the start of the year, they were so hot. They were so good to us because we were winning on them. I think we were not late to the party with this Bucs team, but, we've been a little hesitant in certain matchups to fade them. Here, we're both aligned where we're like, okay, we want to fade Baker. We really want to back the Panthers, and we said this probably should be closer to a pick. There's not much that separates these two teams at this standpoint. So the fact that you're still getting the Baker feels like tax. Like the books are still giving Baker that point and a half because he is the better quarterback. I think we're getting a steal here. Like the Panthers, coming off 54 yards by Bryce Young. Yeah, like I said, this is this exact thing he does. He plays possum. They're terrible one week. The next week he's throwing for 350 against the Rams, like a juggernaut. It's just so up and down this season. So yeah, Chad, I love that we're ending the season with our team. The Panthers give it to us plus 2.5.
Simon, we had some friends over last night. And I got a lot of comments this week from listeners about your immediate reaction when I said Rico Dowdle needs 7 yards. And you're like, no, I can't do a whole show where you're talking about this.
7 yards, yeah.
7 yards. I just want to point out, I did bet Rico Dowdle 25-plus yards rushing and parlay it with Rico Dowdle, his anytime touchdown. Because the anytime touchdown odds are about plus 117. If you parlay it with his 25-plus yards, you're getting it for plus 130. So that was my point.
Yeah, I think I had two different people walk up to me and say, "Hey, Rico Dowdle has got a bad hamstring. He might not play this week."
He's playing. He's full participant.
Well, I checked
this morning.
If the difference is 7 yards to make $1 million in incentives, you have to take the shot. Yeah, you have to at least get 2 or 3 carries to try to get that 7 yards. I know the touchdown might be a stretch, but the 7 yards, he's got it.
I love that people were coming up to you in the book.
Why tell me this guy's hurt? Yeah, I just thought.
That is just great. God bless our listeners, the freaking best. Hey, Matt Mitchell, I didn't put this in the script, but we should throw up Seattle and San Francisco just because Simon mentioned it, because I didn't think we were going to play it in the contest.
We can't, right? It's Saturday.
Right, we can't play it in the contest. So, I'm a little surprised too. I understand sort of where the wise guys are coming from, and we talked a little bit about this on Tuesday. There are very clear distinctions here. Either you believe in Kyle Shanahan as an underdog and you believe in what he's been able to prove with his team at home as an underdog, or you believe in Mike McDonald and what he's been able to prove with his defense on the road and being so dominant. So I understand why the wise guys are backing the Seahawks. At the end of the day, I think you and I both just feel better backing Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan than ultimately backing Sam Darnold.
Yeah, and we talked, this is another historical game, right? Since 1990, only one other time has the 49ers had a win percentage above 75% and been a home dog. And it's very unique. I went back and looked it up. 2011, 2012 playoffs, Drew Brees, Saints, 49ers won 36-32. So not much historical data we have to go off of, but that just shows you that, it's a unique spot for this Niners team. They're not really dogs at home. And I gave you all those crazy Brock Purdy stats in his career against the Seahawks team. In his career, 6-1 straight up. When he's been under 3 points or less, he's 3-0 straight up and against the spread. At home, there's something about this 49ers team, especially at home, and knowing that this is kind of the way it's been with Shanahan. Like we talked before the year, we both liked the Niners to be the 1 seed at plus 900 in the NFC. Yeah. And it really was because their schedule was easy. But we've talked all the time about the up and down of the Niners. They're just the seesaw team. They come in fourth place. The next year they come in first place. They get healthy. The next year they have a ton of injuries. This year they've had the injuries. I mean, that's why Shannon's up for coach of the year at number 2 right now in the voting, or I should say in the odds, because they've done it with all these injuries. I mean, it's incredible what the Niners have been able to do with those injuries. So I get why the pros are taking their position on the Seahawks, right? I've blindly bet the Seahawks team all year on the road because they're just a covering machine. The coach gets this defense up. Mike McDonald is also, I think, maybe number 3 or number 4 in coach of the year odds, just because it's been incredible, right?
Yeah.
Went out, got his quarterback, and really has changed his defense. And at the end of the day, me and you were at a line chat. The reason we like this 49ers team is we just do not trust Sam Darnold. And you've seen it. The numbers back it up these last 5-6 weeks. He's been very disappointing. I think he's number 1 or number 2 in the league in fumbles. He's just been
really turnover machine.
Yeah, he's been really up and down, and the defense has kind of bailed him out and saved him. So you're basically, if you're back in the Seahawks, you are simply back in that defense. And I think we're both more comfortable back in Purdy, the Niners offense. And they've been there, done that, right? Purdy's been to Super Bowls. He's lived up to these kind of moments in his career. So I know it's crazy, unique spot, getting the Niners the dog. It does feel like we're the suckers here, but like I said, I think the pros are missing this one back in the Seahawks team. I think this is finally the time to hop off the train after we kind of got away with one last week when they were 7.5-point favorites.
Speaking of suckers, back in the old 1800 days when Indiana was first defining itself as the Hoosier State, they called their border rivals in Illinois the suckers. True story. Thank you for your attention to that matter.
Oh my God. I'm going to let you have your moment, though, because you're right. Hoosiers, you guys are number 1 right now, baby. Today, it might not end that way, but today, as we sit here right now, I'm
going to enjoy it. Listen, people dismiss the Midwest. They don't understand the lores and culture of the Midwest. I'm married to a woman who's from New York City, who grew up in Staten Island, who looks at everything as a flyover state, even though she went to Michigan, but she sees that as like an anomaly. Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Matt Mitchell's current home state, those states don't matter to people, but they matter to me. Okay? So today we are going to give them their due.
I would say Chris Farley changed my opinion about the Midwest. That's what I will say. That man, I did not think there was a sense of humor in that cluster, but Chris Farley, he opened my eyes.
It's all sense of humor. It's all kindness and sense of humor in the Midwest.
I know. I need a little edge with my humor. That's my issue.
Well, that's what makes us different, Simon. New Orleans plus 3.5 at Atlanta. Actually moved down to 3 now, even with the Olave news, because everybody has been piling in from the wise guy perspective on the Saints. And as you noted, this is a wise guy week. It's not a huge public week. But man, Atlanta's been playing great. To me, this is really about Tyler Shuck Rookie of the Year game. And I don't love that Olave's out. And we'll know so much more about Tetero McMillan, who's right now the odds-on favorite from the day before, could have a huge impact on what happens with Tyler Shuck.
Yeah, and it's brutal losing Olave. Like, he's just been
brutal,
so good. And it feels like every time they draw up some type of play for him to get one-on-one, and he's just automatic. It feels like in the end zone with Shuck. They've just had such great chemistry, especially down the stretch here. And maybe like I said, maybe I'm too biased, too close to it. I'm just happy to at least see that pros are actually betting the Saints side with me, because I'm not gonna lie, I got a little worried when I got up to 3.5. I go, oh my God, now they're giving us the hook on this Saints team. I could not believe that Kirk was now minus 3.5 at home, but Kirk, got to give him props. Like, going through the tape, watching these last couple of weeks, he's going to still have these Kirk games where he just is so immobile in the pocket. He looks so totally lost against the right type of defense. But overall, I got to give him a ton of props the way he's been playing down the stretch here. And I think he's earned the right to be a starter next season. Might not be for Atlanta, but some team, you got to give this guy a chance at this point. Like, he totally has come back from this Achilles injury where, last year we talked about he couldn't even push off his back foot. I watch a tape. He's pushing off that back foot, no problem. He's stepping into throws, really good throws downfield. So matchup-wise for us with the Saints team, what I'm trying to hang my hat on is what we talked a little bit about is, they're actually pretty good against the pass. Their weakness has been the rush. And as much as love and everything Robinson's getting in this, what he just did in 2 primetime games back-to-back, the last time they played, the Saints did really well at bottling up Bijan Robinson. Like, they're a team that obviously they see him twice a year, and they have so his entire career. We always talk divisional teams. They have a different read on these type of games. So, all right, I do think there are ways for them, the Saints, to attack defensively. And we've already talked about Shuck. People might think he's dead in these games, and he just always finds a way to come back. He's been that way since he's been a starter where, he just keeps on slinging it. And that game against Tennessee where they're down 13, they never looked worried. He kept pushing the ball downfield. And obviously we got lucky, right? They were kind of dead, and all of a sudden Ward got strip sacked for that touchdown that brought spark to that Saints team. But, the Saints have always found a way since Shuck's become the starter to find ways to win. So plus 3.5 with this kid and this offense, the way they've been moving the ball, I feel like we always have the opportunity to get the back door here. So I really was hoping that maybe I could talk myself out of this one if it stayed at 2.5. But the fact that it's 3.5, never going to avoid it. Love this number for this Saints team. They've just been an absolute covering machine down the stretch here.
Simon, I think what you're saying about Kirk Cousins when you watch him on film right now and the way he's able to push off is you like that. Do you get it?
I do, but I thought it was going to be another Hoosier reference. I'm kind of heartbroken. I thought you were going to bring it back to the Hoosiers.
I'll find a way.
You need
Don't you worry. It's 2026, my friend. New year, same sense of humor. Don't worry about me. Because I'm so old, I can't change, right?
You can change. Your body DNA totally changes every 7 years, I believe. It totally does. You can change, Dad. You choose not to change, unfortunately. That's the problem.
Well, now you really do sound like my wife. Cleveland at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a 7.5 point favorite. I don't see how we're walking away from this. Like in the last 48 hours, I love this game even more. I might bet some alt lines in Cincinnati. I just think they're going to go out there and fling it. They don't give a shit. They can say they're building on next year. It doesn't matter. Joe Burrow just wants to go out and have a good time and play some ball and end the year on a high note and sling it to Jamar Chase and 42-10. That's my call.
Now, did something happen that made you like it more? Or you just like it because you like it more?
I like it because I like it more.
I didn't know if I missed something, but yeah, I'm right there with you. Like I talked, this is the exact type of game that Cincinnati just goes all out, plays hard. Their offense has been rolling. I know they did have that horrible game, like you said. Joe Burrow was contemplating life and if he's happy or not, and then went out and totally put up 0 against a Ravens defense that has been suspect all season. Since then, he's been lighting it up, and that's just what we expected Joe Burrow when he's got Chase, Higgins both playing. It's an offense that's an absolute juggernaut. The only thing that's been missing was the blocking. And, I keep talking about the offensive line. You can look at the numbers. Since Joe Flacco took over, they've been a top 15, some weeks top 10 offensive line of pass protection, which is just blowing my mind when I look at this team. And it really has been the interior. Like the guards have been playing better, everything. Just really impressive how the Bengals have turned around that offensive line. And if you're a Bengals fan, maybe another thing you could pitch to Joe Burrow to be like, got to come back next year, right? The offense line, we've totally rebuilt. It's better. Where it felt like 2 weeks ago, his foot was kind of out the door. Like he was leaving it open to be like, I can move on potentially next year, where I think he would come back. This is the exact type of game where we talked about, Chad. This is the type of game they'll win big to kind of launch off into the offseason of like, seeing momentum. We ended the season. This is what we can be. And I'll give out the stat one more time. This Browns team, off a straight-up win since last year, 0-6 against the spread, losing those games by almost 11 points per game. So they're not covering by 11 points per game, I should say. So they've just been absolutely terrible at this exact spot. They're just a team that does not to handle winning. And that we joke all the time, but it really is a young team at its core, right? This Browns team. They nailed this draft. I mean, I went back and looked. They probably coming to this year, they're probably going to have my highest grade for what they drafted this past draft class, but not the quarterback position. I've already talked about Sanders has been great as like the worst quarterback since he's taken over as a starter, even worse than Geno Smith somehow, which shocked me when I looked at the stats. But you feel like this is a total game where he just cannot keep up with Joe Burrow in that offense. So I'm with Chad. Give me the Cincinnati Bengals -7.5.
The real question, Simon, and I want Matt Mitchell to note this. I want him to remember this. I want him to play this when we get to August and we're doing our team by team and division breakdowns and we're doing our quarterback rankings. Are we suckers? Are we looking at Joe Burrow and his last 6 games and saying, oh my God, the guy was dominant and his offensive line was good? And are we thinking the value on the Bengals is going to be too high to win the division because they're going to be playing a relatively bad schedule? And are we going to all of a sudden be going all in value? Are we going to be, as the Hoosiers used to say about their friends on their border state, are we going to be Illinois suckers? And are we going to go all in backing Joe Burrow and the Bengals? I want us to remember this. I want us to be smart about this. I don't want us to get crazy because something's always going to happen to screw up that bet.
Well, I'll say this. My one buddy turned to me and said, this is the only division of football that they could have all 4 teams have a different starter come next year, week 1, with all the drama, with
So
Lamar.
true.
What we've heard from Joe Burrow, the uncertainty of Aaron Rodgers and the unknown, obviously, of the Browns and what they're going to do. And I was like, you're right. I probably never even thought about that. It's probably the only division in my lifetime that's ever been in that unique spot of having all 4 new starters come week 1 next year.
2 years ago, this was the most competitive division in football. Remember, all teams had season win totals of 8.5 or higher.
Yeah.
It's like insane how quickly the league changes. Dallas, a 3.5-point favorite at the New York Giants. We are very public on this. We both like Dallas. You're explaining the wise guys like the way Jackson Dart can move the ball around. We're definitely on the public side here because we do have reverse line movement with the public coming in on the Cowboys, but the line moving in the direction of the Giants. Doesn't have to get into the contest for me, but I'm not seeing it with the Giants.
I know, and I hate these type of ones because it's like either side, I feel like I'm leaving money on the table where it's like the line movements scare me enough where I'm not putting as much into Dallas, and it's making me rethink where maybe I'm overlooking this Giants team too much. And this is probably a Giant spot, but I told you in my life as a bettor with Dak, I blindly bet him in this exact spot, right? When he's playing a bad divisional team below 500, Dak beats the crap out of these type of teams in this exact spot. He just seems to win these games big. Maybe – once again, there's something I'm missing. Maybe there's a cold front or a storm coming in on Sunday. I don't think there is. Like I checked the weather. It looked pretty good. I just don't know why Dak being outdoors in the cold or the line moving as much as it has off. I just don't know what it's moved off of, right? It's moved off professional money. So, there's nothing going on injury-wise for either team, right? The Cowboys cut Diggs or
They did. He signed with the Packers, Trevon Diggs.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's like he doesn't matter. He wasn't doing anything for the Cowboys anyway. So really bizarre line movement here. And like Chad said, we know it's the public side with Cowboys, but it's Dak and Dallas against a bad team. Like I said, this is a long-term winner taking this position with Dak. Usually wins these games pretty big. So he's another guy that, it's not his fault his team's been as bad as they were this year. He's has great numbers. He's performed basically every week. He's had a couple of letdown games, but that's usually against really good defenses. Not so much against a Giants team that, yes, they have a pass rush, but that secondary is just terrible. So
terrible.
You expect him to throw all over the field with CeeDee Lamb and Pickens obviously playing for that new contract.
Green Bay and Minnesota, we talked about this one. Has moved from 5.5 on Sunday night when we talked about it, said you got to grab it, to 7. We don't know who the Packers quarterback is going to be. We do know that they recently signed Desmond Ridder to the practice squad. And we expect them to rest a lot of starters. So that's why this game has moved from 5.5 to 7. The only reason it isn't moving more is because Max Brosmer is the quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, as far as we know. So, in terms of value, in terms of contest, I mentioned it only because of the Desmond Ridder news. I don't think there's a play to be had here if you are getting this number at 7.
Yeah, and I'm obviously invested in the Vikings, but if you don't have a single penny invested in the Vikings, you have no bet on this game. A couple books have popped Green Bay 7.5. I mean, with all the unknown, that to me is the position you want to be on at this point. You're getting now a touchdown and a half where it could be Malik Willis, that's a big deal. Like if he is a player. Now, if it's Desmond Ridder, obviously I think you're deader than dead. I can't see him moving the ball that well, especially after 1 week of practice against this Vikings defense. But it's a weird game because the numbers move too much to me. Like I like the Vikings. You can still get anything under 7, but like I said, a bunch of books are popping 7.5. I cannot give out the Vikings with a third string quarterback at 7.5 without knowing who the Green Bay quarterback is. If it's the third or fourth string guy, I have no problem taking Minnesota if you want a ton of points. But this is what's tough about this week. The lines move so much just because the pros are hitting it so early. And this game I really am shocked to see it getting up to 7.5. Hopefully, like you listen to the show, you were able to get the 5.5 on Minnesota, even the 6.5 we gave it on Tuesday. But at this point, the number to me is moving too much for me to really give out the Vikings on -7.
LA Chargers, we talked about it, 12.5 point underdogs at Denver. I'm shocked this one hasn't moved to 13. I was really hoping it would because I wanted to bet it at 13. One book actually has it, a very public book has it at 11.5. But like, this is an imminently intriguing matchup to me because the Chargers defense is still good. And that's who's going to be defending against Bo Nix. I don't talk about unknowable. Why is Trey Lance to me a 10-point difference from Justin Herbert? I don't know that he should be. And so I think he presents a dynamic with his legs that is a little bit different than what the Broncos have been able to prepare for. So it just feels like it's way too high to me.
I actually went and looked to see what is the difference just from my model. And honestly, it's right around that, Chad. I had it a 9-point difference. So someone that likes to, shit on Herbert because it's fun, because his fans think he's something that he's not, which is
top 5 quarterback.
Yeah. I think he's a good quarterback, just not top 5 quarterback. But I told you, this is all pros. Like, this is just simply a pros versus the book type of game. And there's Hard Rock just moved to 12 while we're doing it live. So clearly there's still money coming on the Chargers even late. But I just want to let people don't be scared off. Like, you look at all the splits, you're going to see all the tickets, all the money on this Chargers team. Like I said, I think it's simply just professionals. I don't know anyone Joe Public messing with this game unless they're throwing, the Broncos in a 5.5 teaser or taking the Broncos money line. I just cannot see the public line up. But there's other games they're going to want to bet. And the Broncos have disappointed, right, as a favorite. I've talked about it. Bo Nix this season 2-9 as a favorite against the spread. He's just struggled in this spot. And Chad talked about it a little bit here with Trey Lance. It is obviously a step down from Herbert, but the legs, I feel like, mitigates a lot of it. What you've seen Herbert do so well, obviously he's good at passing the ball. Herbert has bailed them out a ton with his legs, and that's what is going to happen a lot here with Trey Lance. He's going to be on the run a ton, and shockingly so, the Chargers are going to play a lot of their starters from their offensive line just because those guys need work. Like, if you look at the grades, they're basically 32nd, 31st in almost every category, blocking-wise. And, they obviously need to work on the pass blocking and run blocking. This is the perfect team to do it against. The Broncos have one of the best fronts in all of football. So Trey Lance, he's going to be running for his life. But like Chad just said, this feels like a little bit too much of a movement with the Herbert news. Like, if it was Herbert in this game, what is this, a 3-point, 2.5-point type of spread? 10 points feels like a lot. So if you do hear this and you can't get the 12.5, I would grab, because I do think the pros keep betting this down. And like Chad said, there's one book already showing 11.5. I think a couple books will follow suit as the week goes along here.
Keenan Allen, a lot of incentives in this game. I don't know if he's going to be playing, but if he does, look for those Keenan Allen props, folks, because if there's anything that's like, it could be the perfect scenario. Like, he's playing, they don't really have anything to lose, so just sling the ball, find a way to get Keenan Allen his $750,000 in incentives if he has 6+ receptions. Take a look. It's more than 7 yards, I'll tell you that much. Detroit +3 at Chicago. Caleb Williams is 270 yards away from being the first Chicago Bear ever to get 4,000 passing yards in a season. Ben Johnson was asked about this in his press conference, and he said he thought it was an arbitrary number. Who cares? Reporters laughed and said, "You must be new here because everyone here cares quite a bit." I looked at Caleb's 2-year stats. Through week 17 in his second year, 45 touchdown passes and only 12 picks. So last night, my buddy who was over asked me while we were watching the game, the Miami-Ohio State game, if you were to redraft the 2024 quarterback draft, what would you do? I still had Caleb number 1. And I had Drake Maye number 2.
Yeah, it's we all overreact, right? I think Jaden Daniels was the unanimous number 1 pick coming to this year from that draft. So, yeah, it's just I saw people are saying, is this the greatest QB draft ever? A draft that I think Jaden Daniels is the only one with the actual playoff win. So it's just we like to crown him early. That's what we do here. We like to crown him early, but I've never wavered. I said from the get-go, Caleb was my number 1 guy. I mean, one of my favorite shows ever was, I think it was we had on Seth Rollins, was trying to talk you and Seth Rollins down about getting rid of Justin Fields and how this is a good thing. And Caleb Williams is a million times better in sense of the upside. And it's just funny looking back where now it's like, there's no question, right? One's a proven winner that can make the big time throws. The other one is a crazy athlete that can never find a way to win games. So
it can be out of the league in 2 years.
Yeah. Caleb is just, you see why he's, the guy was hyped up in high school. Seth Wickersham told us his dad had him getting interview prepped when he was in high school, getting ready for talking to the media for college and the NFL. Like, this kid always has been the guy. The question was always going to be, can he be a leader of men? Can this guy lead men? Can guys play hard for him through a whole season? Does he have that type of personality type? And you've seen it now. He is what we always talk about, right? You need that quarterback to be the type of alpha guy. And he seems like he is it. That game last week really was shocking. I just couldn't believe how great Caleb played in a game that had just the same amount of pressure to get the 1 seed. So I am not shocked talking about this game to see the pros come in on this Bears team, right? They have been what we've talked about all season. They play teams close. They always find ways to win late, and that's just their identity, right? They're just a slug it out type of team, and they have something the Lions don't have, which is a run game. Like, let's break it down for real. This Lions team, they cannot fall back on the run game like they have in the past. A lot of these games have fallen onto Goff's shoulders, where this Bears team, they need to pick up 4 or 5 chunks to give, a 3rd and 5 or 2nd and 5 to Caleb. They've been great at putting him in that position. The Lions have not been the same. I do think that is why so many pros think that this is the difference here. The Bears team will always be in a better position, but I think me and Chad have talked a little bit about it. This Bears team. We love them, but as a 3-point favorite, that's where I have to draw the line. This is a team, like I talked about, they play close games. This Lions team, as bad as they've looked, they're still the number 2, number 3 offense in all of football. They're still a team that has moved the ball. They've just been so let down by their defense. So really unique spot, right? A really, really unique spot in the sense that a couple of weeks ago, the Lions were probably -1 here on the road. And the number has moved, 4.5 points, 5 points now, because the Bears have been playing so well down the stretch, and the Lions, they've fallen off a cliff. I mean, that last loss, it could be more embarrassing. That's why the public is totally out on them, right?
That's by the way, why I'm on this game is
how bad that game was.
I'm fading that last game. I'm fading the Bears' brilliance, and I'm betting into the Lions' complete and total failings.
Which, again, to me is scary because this type of year, I really do think you are who you are. Like, the Lions are exactly who they are. If you go through and you look these last couple of weeks, no, this is who they are. They've totally faltered here and fallen apart, and it's really Goff. Goff has just been absolutely terrible with the turnovers, holding on the ball too long. Like, it just felt like all of a sudden he has zero pocket awareness. Like, he doesn't know there's a blitz coming. He's about to get smacked in 3 seconds. All of it, Goff has been so bad. But like you just said, this is the lowest we've been able to buy this Lions team in, I don't know, 4 years with Campbell. Like, this is just feels like this is low as it gets since we bet on them when they were 0-8, and they pulled out that win against the Minnesota Vikings. So it's been a long time for this Lions team, and it's really to me about the numbers. So we'll ride with the books. The books are going to desperately need the Lions come Sunday, and that's a position I'm happy to be in. So grab the 3. We'll see if we get lucky in 3.5, couple of 3.5 pops. But while we're doing the show live, Hard Rock just went to 2.5. So there is some pro money coming on this Lions team now, finally.
Arizona, the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are 7.5-point favorites. It's ticked up from 7 into 7.5 since I made it Chad's choice. Talk about you are who you are, and maybe I was leaning into it too hard for the Lions, but I'm definitely buying into a team that had a dreadful first half in prime time and then nearly won the game in the second half with a guy who probably should be the MVP and Matthew Stafford going against a team that really is who we think they are in the Arizona Cardinals. It's at 7. It's moved up to 7.5. Still good with it. Still like it. Still want to put it in the contest. Los Angeles Rams. Fight, fight, fight.
Yeah, and Arizona just looks like one of those teams that all these guys had booked their vacation.
Yeah, they're done. They're
They've
done.
been totally cooked. Last week saw some fight. I think they had this crazy touchdown where Cincinnati couldn't tackle, and all of a sudden it was like a 14 point game. The final score is 37-14. Like Cincinnati just totally whooped them, opened it up on them the rest of the game. And we've gone through it. Every game they've just getting blown out. Even Atlanta beat them by a touchdown. I think they beat them 26-19.
Yeah, they just they couldn't compete anymore. Like the second half of the year, they just stopped being able to keep the games that were close in the first half of the year within contention, and they just get blown out, and they get blown out late.
And the last time they played, speaking of overreaction, the Rams is this same exact team, whereas in Arizona is a minus 9.5 point favorite. So the number has moved against them. Now they're at home.
Makes no sense.
Exactly. It just shows how the public and general public overreacts to it. So this is going to be a huge need for the book, but every week whoever plays against the Arizona is going to be a need, obviously. But I'm with Chad. Feels like the exact type of game that they need to get right. And McVay, it's not going to be an easy week of practice, right? It's going to be a really hell week. They need this. They're going to need to show up offensively. And touch a little bit of the Stafford MVP stuff. There's no way they don't hear that stuff inside the locker room, right? There's no way they don't hear that he's now not the favorite. And I'm sure he's seen that. I think he has 42 touchdown passes. Basically, if he throws for 3 touchdown passes, he'll have 45 touchdown passes and under 10 interceptions. Only 2 other quarterbacks in NFL history have ever done that, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. They both won the MVP this season. They did that. So there is a little bit of historical data where certain numbers he needs to get to. I think they look better to these beat writers. A lot of these people vote on MVP, and I'm sure you've seen it. It's already been a heated week. Patriots.
Oh my God, so much fun.
Dan Orlovsky just getting killed because his agent reps Matthew Stafford's agent, and it's just they're coming for you. If you have an opinion on this in your sports media, they're really coming for you. And we talked a little bit about it. I think Stafford, when he came on the show, he was over plus 300 the MVP. You've seen it come down a little bit just because of what I said. It's like this is an opinionated award. It doesn't matter if Drake Maye is the big favorite here. It's really based on these opinions and how well Stafford's agent can sell it to all these people in media. When, like I said, he's been around, 37 years old. He's been around a long time. That's going to ring true in a lot of these media guys when they go to vote. So, we're all in on this Rams team. This is another spot where Arizona, we're really banking on Arizona being a team that quit here. That's really what we're banking on here, because if you just have a little bit of a letdown like we've seen, this Rams team are going to be so motivated. How do they not put up 35, 40 points here against this Arizona defense, Chad? So I know it's very chalky of a bet by you on Tuesday, but I'm supporting it. I love this Rams team.
It's a narrative award. People in the media love a narrative. Simon Says was the Pittsburgh Steelers plus 3.5 hosting the Baltimore Ravens in the last regular season game of the year on Sunday Night Football. We're both all in on the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're all in on Mike Tomlin, rah-rah. We're all in on the Steelers as an underdog. We're all in on Aaron Rodgers. I'm mostly in because I think this Ravens defense has proven to be a fraud against the pass as the season has gone on. They haven't gotten better. They can be taken in the middle of the field. They keep getting confused. I'm tired of seeing Kyle Hamilton and Roquan Smith trying to work it out after a big play. Like, they just haven't been good. I'm betting against the Ravens. I'm betting on Aaron Rodgers. Let's roll.
Yeah, and it's such a fitting way for us in the season, right? On this gross game, taking the gross dog in a spot we always back Tomlin. So, it's a really unique game in the sense what Chad's talking about here. It's a team that, you kind of throw out the records and you just blindly take the dog historically. Give out the record one more time just because will always be my favorite stat. This series since 2005, 30, 12, and 3, the dog in this matchup. 71% in the regular season, the underdog. So whether it's Tomlin's underdog or Harbaugh's underdog, these two coaches, when they match up, whichever team is the underdog, 25-7 against the spread in their history. It's crazy. It really is when you go back through all the data, especially when those Ben Roethlisberger years, right? They had the 3 Bs. They were dominant offensively. They were playing against a banged up Flacco and a horrible Ravens team. The Ravens kept winning those games or covering, and then they flipped when this Pittsburgh team has now been playing backups. They've been covering and winning. So I don't know about you. I'm hoping it's Lamar. I know it sounds crazy, but we talked about Lamar with this injuries to his legs. He's not had his superpower. He's not had his legs. And that's such a weapon of his to miss, where you saw it with Snoop Huntley. I felt like that was a big difference in that Green Bay game. Like, they just couldn't contain him. And when he would break out and he'd use his legs, that was such a weapon. You saw that was lacking with that Ravens offense. So we'll see today. I think Lamar is participating in their walkthrough. Hopefully he gets cleared today, and he should be the quarterback here. And maybe we get a 4 or 4.5 by kickoff because Lamar is the quarterback. But I'm grabbing the 3.5 just in case the professionals do come in and bet this one down now. I could see this one coming down. So unique spot. We love the Steelers here. We blindly bet it. We will see what the injury news is with Lamar, but I just can't see it affecting the line too much. At most moves a point, maybe a half a point.
He did practice. They are confident he will play. That's the latest news. So there you go.
The numbers held. So maybe it won't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it won't move, because if Chad's giving that info, that means that the books have known that for a little bit and they've not budged. So that's really interesting. So yeah, it's held at 3.5.
Pittsburgh Steelers plus 3.5. Quick word from our sponsor at Hard Rock Bet. We'll come back on the other side. Today's show is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet, Florida Sportsbook, and the official sportsbook partner of your favorite Florida teams like the Jags, Buccaneers, Heat, Magic, and Panthers. It's Week 18 and playoff spots are on the line. Think you know how it will play out? Build a same-game parlay on Hard Rock Bet and turn game day into payday. Or if you're more into hardwood than the gridiron, you can put up shots on the NBA and college every night on Hard Rock Bet, your home for hoops action all season long. You can even combine your football and basketball bets. If you've got a Week 18 parlay, add an NBA bet or player prop to turn it and turn up the payouts. And if you missed the start of the game, don't worry, Hard Rock Bet has live in-game betting, so you're never too late to bet any football or hoops game all season. Find a winner or grab that player prop you had circled and bet live in just a few easy taps. If you haven't tried your first bet on Hard Rock Bet, there's still time for you to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Just place a $5 bet. And if it hits, you get not only your winnings, but also an extra $150 in bonus bets. The Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook app is the only legal sportsbook for whenever you're in Florida, and also live in Arizona, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, Illinois, Colorado, and Michigan, coming soon to more states too. Plus, Hard Rock Bet offers new promos every single day. So whenever you're listening, just open up the app and check out what you've got any day of the week. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and make your first deposit. All right, Simon Hunter, what are your biggest bets?
Before I do it, a couple people asked about futures. I'll do it super quick, just from before the season, asking what I have left from our show that got lost in the shuffle. I basically need a miracle. I need the Bills to somehow, for Super Bowl futures, this is, I need a miracle. I need the Bills somehow to make it to the Super Bowl to beat the 49ers at plus 65 to 1. So that's the one I have left. Obviously, I gave out the Eagles to over the Chiefs. That one's deader than dead. 49ers to be the 1 seed in the NFC, plus 700, still alive. I couldn't believe it. I gave out worst record, Arizona Cardinals, 75 to 1. I have a couple of tickets on that. One game away. They are 3-13 or 3-14. Obviously, the Raiders have 2 losses. So that one was really close to coming out. And still alive, most receiving yards, Jackson Smith-Njigba at 35 to 1. He is leading by, I think, 70 yards. So, yeah, not the best year for futures, but that's why we give out crazy long shots. You're always hoping for crazy stuff. For this week, biggest bets, like I said, it's a little weird because it is the week before the playoffs and there's so much college football going on. Biggest position I took, obviously, early in the week, I took a large position on the Minnesota Vikings. Took a large position just because I thought that Green Bay wouldn't be playing their starters. That number has moved, luckily, accordingly. I took a pretty big position on this 49ers team at plus 1.5. I'm a little worried about it because, like I said, it is the pros are so heavily on the other side. So, if you want to join me in my bigger bet for Saturday, I'll take Carolina up to 7.5. I'll take the 49ers up to 7.5. It's probably minus 120, maybe minus 110. Just because Carolina is back up to plus 3. The juice isn't too bad, but I like both of them to cover, at least being a touchdown underdog. I just can't see the 49ers getting blown or Carolina getting blown on these type of games. It's just, we see it time and time again, right? Teams fighting for divisional games that decides playoff positioning tend to be very close games. So I do like that. I wouldn't tease it because teasers now are a ripoff. I think if you tease this, it's like minus 140. You don't need the Panthers or plus 9.5. Just take the number up to adjusted to 7.5. That's going to be one of my bigger bets. And as people know, Chad's already talked a little bit about it. Cincinnati, love that side, love the Rams. I'm just putting their money lines together, taking a pretty big bet on both those sides just to win straight up. But yeah, like I said, very, very wonky week. It's just be careful because it's really the pros heading these lines. The public usually set this week out just because it is such a wild week.
Speaking of money lines, money line underdog parlay, I've got Pittsburgh, Carolina, San Francisco, New Orleans.
Love it.
Money line favorite, you just mentioned two of them. I had Cincinnati and the Rams. I have Denver minus 5.5. I got Minnesota.
I don't hate it. Like, again, it's a weird week where like Dallas, I like Philly. I know Philly's playing their backups, but
yep.
Tanner McKee just looks like an absolute stud. Like, I think this could be a starter, and this is the exact type of game where he knows he's playing for that, right? He's playing for that Matt Flynn type of deal. He wants that Matt Flynn money. So
yeah.
I like the Eagles now. The numbers move so much. Like I said, if you could have got watching at plus 7, that was a really nice number. But now that it's under 7, especially now the Eagles money line, I think that's good value there. So yeah, there's a bunch of ways you can mismatch. If you don't love the Denver line that Chad gave out, I don't hate throwing Dallas's money line in there, the Eagles money line. But yeah, Rams money line, Cincy's money line, like these, we've seen time and time with these big favorites in the week 18. These teams do tend to show up where these other teams, they're already ready for that vacation. They're just there to get that paycheck.
Sharp versus square. Who do you got?
I guess I gotta do it because I've just hyped it up so much at this point. Give me the 49ers plus 1.5.
I am taking the Cincinnati Bengals. I'll take the 7.5.
You on the Rams 7.5 and the Bengals 7.5.
I know. I thought about that. One of them's going to lose, obviously. Now
I don't know. I'm with you. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I like them both.
All right, listen. Happy New Year to everybody. We're all Hoosiers today. Go Indiana Hoosiers. Fight, fight, fight. This has been Sharper Square, part of the Volume Podcast Network. We will be back on Sharper Square YouTube on Sunday morning. You'll get to eavesdrop on an intimate conversation where we make decisions we will regret. Watch or listen on Sharper Square on YouTube. You can also download us from Spotify, Apple Pods, wherever you get your pods. Rate, review, subscribe, leave us 5 stars. Say whatever you want. Feedback is a gift. Until Sunday. Love you.
This ain't Ray Nitschke and Dick Butkus and Deacon Jones over there, so let's start kicking some ass.
This team is not better enough. They're not even good.